head of product at Vimcar, and we are a connected car company based here in Berlin, and we build intelligent products based on car data. And we have basically identified an opportunity, and the opportunity looks like this. If you are driving a car that's provided to you by a company in Germany, in order to avoid fairly steep rate of taxation of 1% of the value of the car every month, you are required to keep fairly detailed track log of your car's activity. And the current way to do this is to take pen and paper and write it all down. As you can imagine, it's widely annoying, it's widely inefficient, and it's widely irritating for the drivers, for the companies who are providing the car, and I bet it's actually probably pretty annoying to the tax authorities as well. So we're looking for really compelling applications of connected car technologies, and we then basically identify this as one potential area to dig deeper into. We talked a lot with potential people who might be interested in using these services, especially people who have cars provided with them by the companies. And we talked a lot with lawyers and tax advisors to figure out the way to do this in a very safe, easy, convenient, and tax-compliant manner as well. And what we came up with Spots, and it's basically a combination of a little hardware product, a little piece of kind of hardware that goes into your car that connects to your car data port, OBD port, that exists in any car that's basically produced this century. And then you're basically connected with a service, eventually it's going to be keeping the relevant data and present it to you on a mobile application, an Android or an iOS application. And all you need to do is to basically drive around, perhaps interact with an application to classify trips appropriately, and when the right time comes up in your tax cycle, you can produce a PDF that it's signed, verified, and most importantly, deemed acceptable by tax authorities in this good land, and you're going to basically be pretty certain to be saving money as well. Now, we launched in October 2014. On the first day, we're really delighted to be shipping some packages out, but we were even more delighted when we realized there is quite a lot of demand for our service as well, and when the pile of boxes to be taken to the shipment kept growing. Now, if I'm to talk a little bit about what worked here and what was behind the technology, I could talk about a few things. I could talk about the hardware approach that we take in, and how do we integrate with actually circuitry in a car, and how do we get this data into a system. I could talk potentially about some of the server-side stuff, that it's basically a server written in Python, that does a lot of data stream processing, that does a lot of clever stuff in terms of geo information and dealing with reverse and forward geocoding and so forth. Or I could perhaps talk a little bit about our mobile app clients that are designed to be very unobtrusive and very efficient and very clean. But what I think really kind of, what I really think it's a thing to talk about, it's the approach that we take in identifying this use case and taking very much service-led approach to it, and figuring out a way in which we can identify a specific problem, see how to solve it, and then bring to the market a kind of whole service, and think about this not just as a hardware product, not just as a data product, not just as a mobile product, but a service that solves a specific problem. And we believe that this is a way forward for connected car industry, and we believe that this is a way forward actually in many other areas of this kind of connected product, Internet of Things, however you want to call it. So that's the approach that we're going to take. And for you in audience who are having their startups pay for their expensive cars, please come on our website and see whether we can save you any money. And for the rest of you, get in touch. We are hiring, and we'd also like to kind of speak to people and see what perspectives they bring. So that's very brief presentation of what we have done with Spots. And yeah, let's hear more of your questions. So let's maybe see some of the live stuff.
What about privacy? How do you save like the user data? Do you keep it separated? Is it encrypted in any means?
No, you have your own.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. Yes, of course. This is basically a big deal, especially for the audience that we are addressing. And we are going through multiple encryptions between the devices, taking privacy and data security very seriously on our server side, and we have also gone through a lot of certification and a lot of basically a lot of kicking tires by relevant authorities on this case as well. And it's something that basically makes or breaks the application such as this. Yeah.
What's the difference between, you know, the regular, in German, this nice word, elektrisches Fahrtenbuch, and your application? Because, I mean, you can already choose it in many car models as an extra.
The difference is that we are one of them. Perhaps the difference to some of the others in the market is that we are based on this kind of hardware and software solution which decouples some of the trip tracking from the mobile device and makes it much more convenient to actually see what's going on with your actual car data. But yeah, that's basically it.
I had a question that's sort of related to privacy. Now, you have this hardware dongle box, whatever, in your car. There's a very real risk of that being put in surreptitiously by an employer, for example. How do you maintain any sort of legislation or option for the employer to ensure that they know what's going on? I mean, any person can have this in the car and you have no way of turning it off. Am I incorrect there? Or it's a huge privacy issue for me. That's number one. I just want to address that a little bit more than data encryption, but more so to the ability to turn it off or remove the dongle and stop making it aware to the employer or the employee that he has this in his vehicle.
Yeah. All right, very good question. Actually, this is a voluntary device and voluntary service. It's actually, we are selling it to people who are getting the benefit rather than the companies at this moment, although we're kind of discussing the corporate market as well. The hardware device is not fixed in any way, so from that point of view, you take it out to the device and it doesn't work anymore. And of course, there is a suite of management tools that we have built in order to control the data and information. But basically, at this moment, it's very much a voluntary product that people want to use in order to realize very real and tangible benefit. And as a service-oriented company, as a product-oriented company, it's also incumbent on us to build our service, especially around mobile app, in such a way to inspire confidence in users who are going to be using this, to basically feel safe with using a device that clearly has a lot of privacy implications as well. And we feel that we are striking the right balance, or at least that's the message that we're getting from the market right now. But the message is it's not an imposed top-down product.
I got one more question.
Okay. Yeah, of course. Yeah, why don't you?
Hi everyone, my name is Malte. I'm head of marketing at Vimcar. Oh no, I still let's try something here. Christian, he's one of the founders who just came in, he's a bit late, and he took the car. Can everyone hear me? Or do you want the mic? Okay, I'm going to try the mic and move over here. Let's try something here. Let's refresh the app and see what happens. If we are lucky, it works. It did. So Christian left late at Windstraße. You can see that on the very top. He left at 11 minutes past 8 and got here at 20 past. I'm going to select that trip, and it should show up on the screen here. What you can see now, and this is one of our main features, brings us back to our privacy proposition. So we actually didn't track Christian. We don't know how he got here, which is important in this field. So the tax authorities don't actually need to know which route you took. They only want to know the kilometers you drove. So in the bottom right corner, it gives you 2 kilometers, and that wasn't derived from the GPS data, but from the data we got from the car itself. And that's like one of the main advantages over many other solutions. So I don't actually know how Christian got here, but the tax authorities can be sure that every single meter that our company car drives is being accounted for.
So you're getting the distance from the car. The distance is nothing to do with the GPS coordinates, etc., etc.
Correct. We're utilizing a standard called OBD. It's called onboard diagnostics. So the little plug is being plugged into a standard port that's in every car since 2001. At the very bottom, there's 3 buttons, and that's what makes this app beautiful. There isn't any more than those 3 buttons. So this was clearly a business trip. So I'm going to hit Betriebsfahrt for you. I'm going to enter some information. Let's just pretend that we visited the electronic market. Is coming up right on top. Clearly, this is connected to my phone book. Or maybe it's just the Musterfirma here. We've got a few reasons why we visited. Let's erase that one, add another one. Let's just go for tech meetup. Should be quick. Oh. No, that's not right, is it? Here we are. Okay, so I can't fix it. I can't do it. Now the beauty is, what I've done right now is I've already kept my logbook. What I did now is all you need to do to keep like a logbook that's accepted by the tax authorities.
I got one more question. How do you guys differentiate your product from other competitors in terms of functionality, like Zubi, Dash, Automatic, Carvoyant? I could go. Okay. I'm talking more about functionality.
No, I can give. Yeah. I've got a pretty good. Yeah. So I think we're the exact opposite. So I think Automatic and Zubi, they approach this from a very generic point of view. So they're giving like a host of options and functionalities, of which none is entirely like 100% clear to the user what it's good for. And we sort of reversed that and said, where's the actual problem that we can solve? And we are the only company using this technology that's actually offering a product on the level of like legal authority, and it actually works. So neither Zubi, nor Automatic, nor O2 Car Connection, which has entered the market in Germany and which is actually a license of Zubi, can actually provide what we're doing from a legal point of view.
Okay, thank you. The federal tax agency works that way that if in doubt, they go back to this 1% rule. How can you make sure or certify even that this Fahrtenbuch is accepted by the tax agency or tax department?
Malte has a very good answer. Much better than I'll deliver, so. Yeah.
We can't. There's no way we can make sure, because there's two ways to this game. So there's how the user uses it and what we provide. We're absolutely certain that we're providing a 100% law-abiding tool, and there's certain ways that we can prove that. So we are being audited by TÜV right now, and we are the exclusive partner of the Deutsche Steuerberaterverband in Germany. No company that does Fahrtenbücher in Germany has a kind of partnership that we just closed with them. However, if you decide to cheat, we can't stop you from doing that. So there will never be a guarantee that this or any other Fahrtenbuch will be accepted more than any other.
Just one little question about actually the hardware device. How do you track, how accurate is tracking, like with GPS, even during rain and clouds and don't get a signal? And how is the battery life? Is the connection, and then how can you install it on old cars?
Because we are based on OBD data port, the data port needs to be in there in the car to, to function, and that's actually fairly safe by now because it's been legal standard in 2001 in most of EU, and actually even before of that, I think 96 in US. Regarding GPS, frankly, we're in the same boat as any other GPS provider, and on occasion, GPS reading does fail, and that's very little we can do about it. So.